up, guys? Welcome to another edition of Motorsports Monday. Gonna have to change the name of Motorsports Monday to something a little different because I noticed that name is already taken on the YouTube platform, so we'll change it up. But we got something a little different, a little special for you this episode of Motorsports Monday. I got to do an interview with Robbie Wilson, our track announcer for Sweetwater Speedway and Diamond Mountain Speedway, and asking him a couple questions about what he thought of the season so far and what he thinks of certain rules for certain sanctioning bodies. And I hope y'all enjoy it. If you enjoy it, we'll do more of these interviews. Sorry for the poor audio. I had to do it all on my phone, but I think it turned out pretty nice, so enjoy the show, guys.
All right, so what was your take on the races at Sweetwater Speedway, that 3-day show? There's a lot of cars there, and I thought it was a pretty good race.
All 3 days of the weekend were actually really nice. Friday night, I thought for at least the mod main, it kind of slicked off a little bit. Almost got one lane, but that, as soon as we had the pits blade that off, there was a good 3-4 inches of moisture underneath, which is kind of what we wanted to see.
Yeah.
Because that's going to keep the track from really, really chunking out, which it did get a little chunked, but not bad. Saturday night was probably the best track I've ever seen at Sweetwater Speedway in the 25 years I've been going out there.
And there's a lot of intense racing there, too.
Definitely. I mean, all three classes put on a show. I mean, I can't ask for more from an announcing perspective. Because, I mean, the better the racing, the better it makes the easier it makes my job, really.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm sure it's quite the show from where you were sitting, and hell, all them drivers. I mean, I don't think I've seen that many mods in the pits, and man, I think last
time. It's been a few years. It's been, I would say, it's been Wild West Modified Tour Day since I've seen, 40 mods.
It's definitely good.
I think there's 40 mods, 20 sport mods, and 14 stock cars all weekend long. So.
Oh wow. That's always good. When you can pack the pits like that, that's always good. And, it's nice to see the track coming back around like that again.
Definitely. I mean, this off season, we moved a bunch of clay up from the infield just to see if we could get it to hold some more moisture, and looks like it's been paying off.
Well, that's awesome. All right. Well, now, you've had the season has started. We've got a few races in, between Sweetwater Speedway, Diamond Mountain Speedway, even Miller County Raceway. Who do you think, let's go with the three classes that we normally talk about, the stock cars, sport mods, and A mods. Who do you think are going to be the ones to watch, the drivers to watch this year? Who do you think's on the ball this year?
Honestly, the one that's been the one that's been consistent in the stock cars has been Dylan Lawrence out of Salt Lake City in a 3L. He has just been super impressive. I think it was Saturday night he won Friday night in Sweetwater. Saturday night, he got spun out on the first lap, had to go back to the back of the field, and he ended up second. And in that field of cars to come all the way up to second, that's pretty impressive. I was keeping my eyes peeled on him all night long. So I think between all three tracks, I know I've had some issues getting guys, especially stock cars, down to Diamond Mountain and Vernal. I don't know what it is. We had a few the last set of races down there, but not enough. But definitely the 3L Dylan Lawrence, he's the one to watch out for.
Okay.
As for sport mods, man, that first weekend, especially just watching them at Sweetwater, if Ronnie Holtz and those Colorado boys come up, they're going to be tough to beat. Ronnie Holtz won that first night, and he was consistently top 1, top 2 running up there. Justin Wright, you can't ever count them out. I think sport mods is pretty much up for grabs, really. It's any given Sunday for those guys,
Yep.
And then mods, like same thing, it's any given Sunday. Down at Diamond Mountain, I think the one to beat's Chase Hansen. I mean, it's his track, and he's won a lot of shows there. And this year, he's running the crate engine, which I was really surprised to see because, his dad's been one of the persistent ones on not letting the crate inside that car, and it finally happened. And you're starting to see the difference now with Dustin Hanson running his other car and Dustin having the open versus the crate deal. It's kind of where that's at. But as for mods, Sweetwater, Miller County, it's up for grabs, you know.
Okay. Well, and you mentioned the crate motor, and you know, go ahead and start our next question here. How do you feel about the crate motor? I mean, anyone who knows me knows I'm openly against it. I mean, I got it tattooed on my arm. I'll never run a crate motor, even if I gotta lose. How do you feel about it?
You know, when they first came out with the crate engines, what was it? It's been 6 years now, I think,
Hmm.
when they first introduced them. I remember me and Sean Miller were flagging for the Wild West Modified Tour. It was one of the last years they did the tour, and we were down at Diamond Mountain Speedway, and everybody had an open motor except for one person, and that was Ricky Alvarado in the WW1 out of Delta, Colorado. And I think we had a caution on lap 16 of 30, and that was the only caution we had in the race. And from lap 16 to 30, Ricky Alvarado lapped 18 cars in the main event.
Oh wow.
That sealed the deal for me on the whole crate motor thing, you know. Especially out here in the West, in order to be competitive, you almost have to run one. We just don't get the moisture in the tracks, you know. We don't have the clay to really hammer down with those open motors. So the crate motor, I guess there's two sides of it. I mean, it kind of takes the racing aspect out of it in one way, as, you know, everybody's running the same junk.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they are, you know. They're just a junkyard motor that's been repurposed, and you put 3 seals on it, and that's it.
Yep.
You know, I miss the days of engine builders, but then you got to look at pricing. I think you can get a crate motor now for, I think they went up in price quite a bit. I think they're like 67 to 76, somewhere in there.
Yeah, I was checking.
Whereas, you know, if you build a top of the line open motor, you're 10 grand. You know, and depending on how long it goes, you know, but like I said, I think with the track conditions the way they are out here in the West, you almost have to run the crate motor to be competitive.
See, I do agree with you. You know, with how slick we get out there, the crate motor definitely comes in handy. I guess my main concern, and I kind of seen it happen over the weekend at Sweetwater Speedway, would be, you know, another track, and I'm not trying to badmouth any track, so I'll make that clear. But, you know, Rocky Mountain Raceway, it's an asphalt track in Salt Lake. They moved their modifieds to crate motors, and it became a lot of follow the leader. Well, we didn't have that issue in the main because the main was intense. That was beyond crazy. But I did see in the heat races, you know, the track was hammered down, a beautiful track,
Right.
but no one had the power to get around anybody.
Right, and I guess that is part of the downside. When it does get hammered down, you know, everybody's running the same motor, same gears. You know, that's what it is. But part of me wishes that it wasn't just Chevys that were in the crate motor side. You know, it's all GM. Part of me wants, you know, IMCA or, you know, everybody to look at it and why not allow Ford crate motors? Why not allow the Mopars? Why is that not an option in the crate motors? Why does it have to be a Chevy?
That's a great point there. Give you more variety, and you know.
Well, yeah, you know, and you know, like I look at it. I hate to throw this out there because I'm not a huge fan of NASCAR. Never have been. My thing is like you look at NASCAR, and NASCAR started with the 3 manufacturers, and you almost got to take that back to the roots of racing. You know, like there was a guy that was persistent for a long time running in the Wild West Tour that I was part of, Randy Arts out of Battle Mountain, Nevada.
Oh yeah.
All he would run is a Mopar, and I loved it because he's the only one out there doing it.
Yeah.
I wish there was a little bit more variety in manufacturers for sure.
Get a little more flavor out there, as you will. You know.
Well, definitely. I mean, myself, I'm not really a Ford fan, but it'd be cool to see a 351 crate motor sitting inside of a modified. That'd be
for sure.
I know. There's a lot of Ford guys, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
There isn't the Mopar guys aren't so much into racing, but I know there's a few that would run a Mopar crate if they'd let them, you know.
See, I agree with everything. You know, like the variety would be great. Seeing the different stuff would be great. I do believe that IMCA they're still playing with the rules and trying to get it figured out a little bit. And I think once it's like figured out, it's gonna be beautiful. Like everyone's gonna be happy.
I agree. The other thing that I kind of wish, going more on the open motor side, I talked with Red Hale quite a bit, who, Hunter Machine, and, they absolutely refuse to run a crate motor because that's taken away from his business. I get that.
Mm-hmm.
And my thing is, he's been trying for 6 years now to build a motor that's comparable to a crate engine.
Mm-hmm.
And I think where the crate engine is at is it's that hydraulic roller.
Yeah.
Having the ability to have the hydraulic roller kind of evens out your ratios, instead of having, you can keep your horsepower low with an open motor, but you're still going to have the torque.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that's where the crate comes into play because they're right at 400 horse, 400 torque, and it just levels everything out and it's smooth.
It's got that smooth power curve.
And I think if somebody can get that power curve down in an open motor, that's the way things are going to get back to.
And I look forward to the open motors coming back. Hopefully they make a comeback. I'm like you. I like the open motors. I like the variety. I understand what they're doing with the crate motor. It's a great idea. Just needs a little more tweaking.
Right. Crate motor came out as a deal for the guys on a budget. You used to be able to go and pick up a crate motor for like $4,000, and now I think they're almost double the price for top the line crate.
Oh yeah.
Depending on who you get it from, and you can buy an open motor for the same price.
Yep. Oh yeah.
So you're not really. I think that's a big thing is the cost. If they could find a more cost efficient way to figure something out, I'm all for it.
Yep. I totally agree with you. Let's see. I guess, what do you got planned? What's your plans as far as what you're going to be doing this season?
So last year I started announcing down at Diamond Mountain Speedway as well as Sweetwater.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of bounce between the two tracks. I know next weekend, the 23rd and 22nd, 23rd, we're back at Sweetwater. And I think the following weekend we're at Diamond Mountain, and then we're back up to Sweetwater July 6th and 7th is round 2 of the Sweet Diamond Challenge Series.
Oh, outstanding.
So I'll be at Diamond Mountain and Sweetwater Speedway every show they get. In the meantime, I know the end of July I'm going to take a flight and go on vacation and get away from everything for a little bit. I'm going to head down to San Antonio for about 10 days. And I'm going to try and find the nearest dirt track to there. I've been looking around. I think the nearest one's about an hour and a half. So.
Oh, that's not too bad for a dirt race.
No, hour and a half to go watch it, and especially down there, those guys are all late models, big UMP mods, everything like that. So, been a long time since I've seen some late models. I'm ready.
See the big boys down there.
That's it, man.
All right. Well, is there anything you want to plug or promote? You got social media? Is there someone you'd like to shout out to? Anything along those lines?
If you want to follow me more, I kind of stopped the videos this year just due to some issues we had last year on my announcing page. But feel free to follow me at Sweetwater Announcing on Facebook, or look me up personally on Facebook if you really want. I'm sure Gordon will get a hold of you if you need to get a hold of me or anything like that. He's on my friends list, so that's about it, man.
All righty. Well, I appreciate you coming on. Let me interview you, and we'll talk at you later.
No problem, man. I just got one last thing.
All righty.
All you people that like to post the live videos and everything, I get the point of it. There's certain times family members can't be there to watch the races, but I guess the number one reason I'm not videoing this year is because I had fans that were waiting to watch my videos online. So if you want to put more butts in seats, you got to stop the videos. That's it.
I do agree. Now, I do make some little sample videos. Anyone who follows me sees. I make track review videos, but I never show the whole show. It's like a half a lap per race.
For sure.
But
for sure,
I do agree with that. If y'all want to come see it, y'all got to come see it.
What's $8?
Yeah, exactly. All right, buddy. Well, I
All right,
appreciate
man.
you coming on.